Welcome back. In this lecture, you're gonna learn how to make ChatGPT even smarter, but in a niched way, more specifically for science formulas and especially for mathematics. So let's start off in the plugin store and we're gonna go through what this is and how it works. First off, we're gonna go to the plugin store and we're gonna search for Wolfram. If you don't know what this is, I think their own description captures it quite well. Access computation, math, curated knowledge, and real-time data through Wolfram. Basically, ChatGPT will get access to real-time data rather than trained information. And this is quickly going to become very powerful because the real up-to-date data from Wolfram has much stronger algorithms when it comes to mathematics and difficult computations. While ChatGPT is extremely smart, Wolfram is specifically designed for difficult calculations. So when you give that software upgrade to ChatGPT, it gets really smart. But again, it is quite niche. This is more specifically, again, if you're doing some scientific formulas or mathematics. But also, we do get real-time access. So let's look at a couple of examples. I'm going to start off by installing it, and then we can see the logo here and it's activated. So the first thing you're always going to need to do is write in this prompt in order to activate Wolfram. You're going to write, answer only using Wolfram and Wolfram Alpha. Respond using current and relevant images and data. If you don't write this in, ChatGPT is going to try most of the time to use its own trained data. The real benefit with Wolfram is using the Wolfram data. So I'm going to follow this up and ask a pretty difficult question. I'm going to ask which elements are gases at room temperature, and let's see what response we're getting. Now understand, ChatGPT also has access to creating pretty complicated charts, so let's see what happens. And this is where we can see the real power of this plugin. So we can see the elements that are gases at room temperature, but even more interestingly, we're getting the periodic table brought up and only the gas elements are being selected in here. Now scrolling down, here are the images representing each of these gaseous elements. Maybe a little bit too abstract, or maybe I'm missing something here, but I do think this is a little bit off. At any rate, this is very impressive. Now let's go ahead and try a different prompt. Let's write, for example, how has Apple stock been performing lately, and send it away. And again, if it's not using Wolfram, you need to start over and then use this part again. Answer only using Wolfram and Wolfram Alpha. If it's not using Wolfram, that prompt is always going to be needed in the beginning of the prompt. So here we're getting real-time data of how Apple stock has been performing lately. We can see the daily return, the monthly return, the year-to-date return, 1-year return, and a 5-year return. Not at all bad data to get in an instant just like this. And finally, we're going to end this with a mathematics equation. Now, I am no math genius at all, not even close. So for those of you who are niched within mathematics or need to use these complicated calculations for school or for work, this is going to come in very handy. I am going to use a very basic example. I'm going to write the diagonal of a rectangle is 25 centimeters long. The width of the rectangle is 7 centimeters. How long is the rectangle? This is the basic Pythagorean theorem. I'm going to send it away and allow ChatGPT with Wolfram to solve this. And here we're getting an answer and we're getting a visual representation. And if you want to take this further and use one of the prompt engineering techniques, we could use something like explain this step by step. We could also use the visual learning if you want to dive deeper and use the show me diagram plugin and have it explained visually along with the step-by-step. We can take this really far to take our learning to the next level. But once again, this is the Wolfram plugin. It is very popular, but it is also very niche. Unless you're deep in the science community and work scientifically, or you're deep into mathematics, you're probably not gonna need this plugin. But for those of you who are and who are niched in that way, this is incredibly powerful. It truly takes ChatGPT to the next level. So with that said, let's continue on our science theme and move on to science research using ChatGPT, one of my favorite plugins ever. And I'll see you in the next lecture.